A federal judge paused President Biden's rollback of Title 42 last week. That's the COVID-19 health policy that allows for the quick deportation of immigrants.
However, the policy is still set to expire on May 23rd. Now, some lawmakers are sounding the alarm on what that could mean for national security. Let's bring it now to discuss New York Republican Congressman John Katko, ranking member of the House Homeland Security Committee. Congressman, good to have you back on the program. Is this still a health policy, Title 42? Do you think it's necessary for a health policy for this country, or this is now more an immigration policy?
Well, it's really health policy based, but obviously it's an immigration issue as well. And Syracuse and New York State, COVID cases are up dramatically again. So this COVID epidemic is not over, and it's become a political football. But the fact of the matter is, once Title 42 is revoked this month, there's not a single agent on the border who will say anything other than we will lose operational control of the border. And when that happens, things are going to be flooding across. And why that's important? Just see the news from this morning. An Ohio State student died of a fentanyl-laced Adderall that he took studying for exams. That Adderall was produced by drug cartels. It's bogus Adderall that's being put on the market. That's how sophisticated they are, and they're making the money by the crossings that they charge every single person that comes across, and it's pretty dramatic.
Congressman, you yourself traveled down to the southern border just last month. You talked to officials there on the front line. What did you see? What did you hear? And have things changed from previous trips?
Yeah, things have changed, and they've changed in the wrong direction. They've gotten much worse. This thing called special migrant visas, or special migrant immigrants coming in, are individuals from countries that are hotbeds of terrorism, like Iraq, Yemen, Iran, what have you. They're being seized at the southern border in record numbers. And even in El Paso sector alone, there's 5,500 Turkish refugees came across, or migrants came across in the past year. And what that tells us is this isn't about Mexico and the Northern Triangle countries. This is about people from all over the world. 160 different countries are now exploring our open borders. Not all of them are good. As we know now, we've fought to get numbers released about the number we've seized at the border that were on a terror watch list in the last year. And that means an equal number probably got through. So the border is being exploited not just by the downtrodden in Central America, but by all over the world. And that's a very dangerous precedent to set.
Congressman, what's the latest information you have in terms of numbers of people who possibly are waiting right now at the border for May 23rd to come and are ready to flood into this country?
Well, the latest numbers, and they're pretty solid estimates, even Homeland Security acknowledges these numbers. Right now, about 5,000 to 7,000 a day are coming across. When Title 42 is lifted, they expect it to be about 18,000 a day. Now, they've all admitted you lose operational control at right around 5,000 a day. And former Democratic Homeland Security appointee Jay Johnson said, when he was head of Homeland Security, that 1,000 a day coming across is a bad day. And we're up to 5,000 to 7,000 now, and expect as many as 18,000 a day. And that's, you just can't control the border when that happens. And what that does, it allows drug traffickers also to get the drugs in a lot easier, because everyone's focusing on the crisis with the people, the human surge at the border, which is really a recipe for disaster.
Congressman, I want to turn now to the crisis, to the war in Ukraine. You've been very vocal about your belief that the U.S. has not done enough to help Ukraine. President Biden has asked Congress to approve another $33 billion. Will that get through Congress, and what more can we be doing?
I'm confident that if Ukraine needs more help, we're going to get it to them, and they certainly do. My biggest concern is the bottleneck. We need to get that stuff to them yesterday. We can't screw around with getting it to them weeks from now or months from now. Mariupol is a great example. They need the weapons now, and even Germany is coming around. And I think Russia's made a colossal mistake. And I applaud the United States, and I applaud our Western Europe allies. We've all kind of gotten a very strong dose of reality of how dangerous the world is. NATO is going to be stronger because of this, and we're going to help the Ukrainian people fight back this menace. We have to. We have no choice.
And, Congressman, one more thing we have to ask you about, certainly this draft opinion that came out at the Supreme Court. We know where your stance has been in terms of abortion rights. You've declared yourself certainly pro-life, but the way this happened and what this now tees up going into the election year, what do you think about the way this has happened, and what does this mean now going into the midterms?
Well, it's terribly disconcerting. And first of all, I'm pro-life, and that's a personal thing, but I never focus on that in Congress because I want to do things that unite people, and that's an issue that's going to be very difficult for people to unite on, and I understand that. But you know, as far as what's going on with this leak, it strikes at the fundamental core of our democracy, because the separation of powers was fundamental to our Constitution. And when someone within the Supreme Court tried to usurp that by creating exactly what they intended to create is happening, and that is this unrest, even before we know what the verdict is something that strikes at the core of our democracy, and that's very troubling. And as a head of Homeland Security for Republicans in Congress, I'm fielding a lot of calls right now about churches who feel threatened this weekend, Catholic churches, because of stuff on the internet about people wanting to go out and attack Catholic churches this weekend because of abortion. This is having the exact effect that individual leaker wanted to have happen from the Supreme Court. It really strikes at our democracy. It's very troubling.
Well, Congressman, it's always good to have you here with us on the program. And I know you are retiring. You're not having to go through this midterm battle. You said you're done. And want folks to know, the guy you're looking at here for the past 3 years, the Lugar Center in Georgetown put out a list of the most bipartisan members of Congress. You have been in the top 3 on that list for the past 3 years. So I guess that should be something to applaud, and maybe a lot of people would argue need more like you in Congress, at least with that record that you have. So we do appreciate you being here.
Well, I appreciate that, and I don't want to sound divisive, but I don't dig keto recipes. No offense there, but I'm all about bacon.
I just called him bipartisan, and he took a shot. I love it.
Thank you, Congressman.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.